Hello everyone, Don here, and what, we're doing this game again? Again? What's wrong with you, man? Well, as it turns out, I did Sonic 1 and 2 for the channel, but not Sonic CD or Sonic 3 and Knuckles. So we're here to rectify that. I'm playing this game and all the other Sonic games on the Sonic Origins collection. That includes Sonic 1 from 1991, Sonic 2, Sonic 3 and Knuckles in locked-on form, and Sonic the Hedgehog CD. And yes, much to my disappointment, some things about Sonic 3 were changed. Oh, we'll get to that. There are many things I am disappointed about in this world. The changes to Sonic 3 and Knuckles is one of them. But what can I say about Sonic the Hedgehog 1? Well, this is probably the first game I've ever played. I don't know, I was like 2. But this game is freaking awesome. Has it aged the best? I guess it depends on the person you're asking. I think it's aged alright. Some of the level design is kind of whack, but it's a good game. I mean, this is the first game. I can't fault it for being stupid sometimes. That's why the sequels improved everything. But yeah, that was Green Hill Act 1. There's nothing much to say about Green Hill Act 1. That's the first stage. You can blaze through it in under a minute. Woo! That's Sonic the Hedgehog in a nutshell. But if you collect 50 or more rings and make it to the end of the stage, a giant ring will show up. Jump into that ring before Sonic runs off screen because he'll lose patience, I guess, and you'll show up in the special stage. The special stages are... well, they're something. Now, I will say that this version is better than the original version because in the original, everything was moving in a herky-jerky frame-by-frame motion. Here, everything's a smooth 60 frames per second. So no more eye strain or, God forbid, motion sickness, because who wants to deal with that shit? Now, this does make the Origins version of the special stages legitimately challenging and not bullshit challenging, because everything is smoother and not because, you know, you're fighting against the controls here. Anyway, that's the first Chaos Emerald. It's a blue. Kind of like me. I'm Sonic. Now, we get coins in the Origins collections instead of lives. I'm not sure what the coins do. I think they unlock collectibles, if I'm not mistaken, as well as give you extra tries in the bonus stages. I haven't really gotten that far into the unlockables of this game, or this collection, so I can't say for sure. The TV monitor I just smashed with the shoe are speed sneakers, which my brother actually hates collecting those because that just makes him uncontrollable. But for me, I like these things because you could do shit like this. Ah! You know, as a kid, I was enamored with Sonic because of how fast he can go, to the point where he'll probably outrun the screen, in the case of Sonic 2. But as an adult, I'm a bit more careful with my platforming. Which is why, when I was younger, my favorite Sonic game of all time was actually Sonic Advance 2 because of how quickly you moved. But nowadays, I probably can't even play Sonic Advance 2 without dying all over the place, because that game was just mainly about speed. Sonic Rush was like that too. In fact, Sonic Rush was even more insane with the speed. There we go. Sonic has passed Act 2. The stages in this game are broken into 6 zones, 7 if you count the final zone, which has 1 act, and all 6 of these zones have 3 acts each. So the game is in a way short, or short enough. It's just the pacing of these zones are a bit wacky. Because let's face it, Green Hill Zone, we're gonna blitz through this thing in like 3 minutes, guaranteed. Marble Zone, the next area, oh boy. Oh, terrible second level. It would have been worse if Labyrinth Zone was the second level as initially thought of, but good thing the developers didn't go that route. That would have been fucking terrifying. Yeah, anyway, second bonus level, and I'm having a hell of a time just trying to get to the emerald. Now, the goal here is to break through those crystal barriers in order to get the emerald. The R icons indicate rotation, so whenever you hit those things, the stage will rotate in the opposite direction. The down and up hard candy peppermints are your speed. So if you press down, you'll slow the stage down, but if you press up, you'll speed up. Cue the Gradius voice clip. Speed up. You do not want these stages to go any faster than 2 or 3 speed, because that's when everything starts to go wild, you can't control yourself, and everything goes to shit. The quickest way, and the good thing is the only way to fail the stage, is to fall into these red goalposts. It's pretty easy to do that on some bonus stages, as there could be a fork in the road, and one path will lead you to success, the other one will lead you to a crippling defeat. As for getting into the special stages themselves, you can only get into them in Act 1 and 2 of each stage, barring Scrap Brain Zone, the final level, and you need 50 rings or more. Make it to the end of the stage with 50 or more rings and then you're good, right? No, you still have to get the emerald, genius! But honestly, I don't mind the special stages in this game, they never bothered me, even the original version. Sonic 2's special stages, I don't think I've ever completed them, or if I did, I must have did it once, and never again. Those special stages are some serious business, man, shit. I don't even think I can get past stage 5. But we shall see. I am aiming for 100% for all of these games, including Sonic CD. Well, I won't be searching for those little generator things, I'll just get the time stones. But for Sonic 2, oh boy. Wish me luck. Oh boy, it's Jim Carrey and I couldn't hit him there. Oh, that's something new. Apparently in the Origins version you can't hit Eggman until he's actually on screen and ready. That's dumb. And yes, I did call him Eggman, not Robotnik. I usually do call him Robotnik. But you know, you got newer fans, they know him as Eggman. Ever since Sonic Adventure 2, it's been Eggman, so I'm just gonna call him as Eggman. Anyway, here's the very first boss of the Sonic franchise, the good old ball and chain, also known as the Egg Wrecker. Very simple affair, you just jump into Eggman himself and avoid the Miley Cyrus wrecking ball. And here's a tip for new players, you can jump through the chain part of the machine without hurting yourself. Not a very practical thing to do because you can't hit Eggman, but it is good to show off. And that will do it for Act 1, or I'm sorry, Zone 1 of Sonic 1. On to Zone 2, which is, a buzzkill to say the least. Because, well, here's a fun story. Me and my brothers used to play this game a lot, and Sonic too, but that's besides the point. And we only had one Sega Genesis controller for the longest time for some strange reason, so we had to alternate turns. So 9 times out of 10, my brothers would get the fun levels, and I get the shitty ass ones like Marble and Labyrinth. So Marble Zone I may despise with a passion, but at least it's not Labyrinth Zone, which is even worse. Now the thing about Marble Zone is that it is slower paced than say Green Hill or Spring Yard, or even Starlight. But you still have some opportunities to go fast even though it's more of a Mario paced type of fast instead of Sonic fast. You know, the type of Sonic fast where you run off screen like in Sonic 2. But here it's kind of like you're waiting, try not to get crushed. Oh yeah, and these things do crush you. It's an instant kill. Even if the crusher in question is moving up and you squeeze the sprite in there the wrong way, you still die. Now Marble Zone does employ a few puzzles, quote unquote puzzles, and those quotes are about as loose as Sonic Spinball's controls. Now, these puzzles are pretty much just pressing a button and that's it. That's really about it. Everything else in Marble Zone is platforming, in the truest sense possible. Now there is magma in this stage, you don't die instantly touching it like say some other platformers, but it does hurt. In fact, the only way you die instantly is if you get crushed, get caught without rings, drown, or fall into a pit. Or in the original game, you get hit by spikes on the rebound. So basically, if you get hit by anything, you're supposed to be invincible for a short time after that. Not in the case of spikes, if you get hit by something and then you jump into spikes, even in iframe mode, you still die. Now this was fixed in the Origins version. Now I'm not sure if that was purposeful on Yuji Naka's part because he did take some inspiration from Mega Man 1. but I'm gonna say that was the case. Oh, I hate this special stage. I don't know if this particular stage gave me trouble in my initial playthrough years ago, but it sucks. This one sucks. It's a wide-ass open area, and you can get thrown around a lot here. It was more troublesome in the Genesis version, and I mean on the Sega Genesis game, not the GBA game, we don't talk about that. But in the original version, the rotation wasn't as smooth, and the screen was a bit more zoomed in, so you couldn't see your surroundings as much. With the Origins collections, the game do support widescreen, even though you can play them in 4x3 too, but I suggest playing them in widescreen, you get more screen real estate. You can see more around Sonic and you don't run into crap nearly as often as you did before. Okay, I gotta admit, that was lucky on my part, that was not skillful at all. I am super bad at that special stage in particular, so I don't know how I did that. Anyway, we got the pink, though it's usually purple in other games, Chaos Emerald. There are actually a lot of inconsistencies when it comes to the Chaos Emeralds between the modern games and the classic games. Well, starting with this game, there are only 6 Chaos Emeralds. All the other games in the franchise, unless we're talking like a spin-off or some sort of offshoot or 8-bit game, all the other games have 7 Chaos Emeralds. The cut of the emeralds in the early games are different too. They're more so rounded, I guess, whereas in the modern games they're more diamond-shaped. And also, because there are only 6 emeralds and not 7, Sonic cannot transform into Super Sonic here. I guess Dragon Ball Z was not popular in 1991, I don't know. It was definitely popular in 92, that's when Super Sonic came about. Sonic the Hedgehog and DBC go hand in hand, I guess. But then again, there are other references too, like Star Wars. We'll see the Star Wars references later. It involves a giant super weapon, I guess. I'm not sure if the Death Egg ever was a super weapon. Maybe it was, or probably just a giant space fortress. Either way, it's a giant Death Star knockoff. Because Star Wars was still popular in the 90s. Well, not quite as much as like the early 80s or any time after that point, but still popular enough. Anyway, we still got quite a ways to go before we make it to the end of the stage. Hopefully with rings intact. And in the original version of this game, you could crouch underneath those platforms and not be harmed, but if you let go of the down button, that's when you get crushed. Origins seemed to have fixed that glitch, much to my chagrin. I was trying to skate underneath the platforms. Now you have the world famous Caterkiller enemies. You don't want to jump on top of these guys or from the rear, you'll get hit that way. And even when you're striking them in the face where their weak point is, you'll still get hit because wonky hitboxes. That's the thing with the first 2 Sonic games, they have really weird hit detection like that. How did I even get hit by the fireball? And I might not be able to get the special stage at the end of this act. Hopefully I can pray for enough rings. Here's a cool way to get points. You just jump onto the block pattern like this. The points in Sonic the Hedgehog, even though there's no high scoreboard, you do get extra lives from points. So try to collect as many points as you can. Spin for the win here. Want to be careful of those random spurts of lava, and now that we got invincibility, I could just wreak havoc. Although I'm not going to be able to get the special stage because we're close to the end of the area and there are no more rings left. I am truly disappointed in my effort, and therefore I should start this whole commentary over again. Hello everyone, welcome to part 1 of Sonic the Hedgehog. No, I'm kidding. Marble Zone Act 3. Now there is a shortcut here which will slice a lot of time off of your timer. There is a time limit. It's not as strict as something like Turrican, but you spend 9 minutes and 59 seconds on a stage, a single stage, and you die. Sonic just decides to have that chili dog induced heart attack and croaks. I never got time limits in general gameplay like this, Sure, if you use it once like in Metroid for escaping a planet, sure, but for something like Sonic the Hedgehog where you're kind of exploring levels, hell, even in Turrican it makes no sense. I guess the time limit is supposed to encourage the player to go faster? I don't know, just a thought? Yeah, Sonic games would do away with the whole time limit thing. The timer is still there, sure, but that's more for rank instead of just killing the player outright at 10 minutes because, hell, Sonic Heroes and Shadow of the Hedgehog, some of those stages were 10 minutes. Probably even 20. And don't get me started on the marathon that is Sonic Unleashed Nighttime. Now don't get me wrong, I like the Werehog stages, but they drain you. They absolutely drain you. So the shortcut in question, you want to jump up here, make sure to take out that caterpillar, and jump through this wall right here. It saves you 2 minutes of time going all the way around, and hey, you get an extra life out of it. Or coins in this case. Why are they coins? It's a me, Sonic, and I gotta go fast. And Sonic X. That was an interesting TV show. I like Sonic X. Mainly for the Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 arcs. Not so much when the human characters were on screen. Honestly, take the humans out and Sonic X would be an A+ show. But no, you have Chris, who is the most boring character on the planet, and Chris's family, who are no better. People complain about Tom from the new movies. Have they seen Sonic X? Chris is even worse than Tom. And I don't even think Tom is that bad of a character in those movies. At least he actually did stuff to stop Robotnik in that first movie. Holy crap. What did Chris ever do? Anyway, here's the second boss, the Egg Scorcher. He'll go back and forth between platforms and drop fireballs onto them. Yeah, that's not impressive, Eggman. What are you doing, dude? There may be a danger of falling into the lava or the fire if you misjudge your jump, but trust me, you won't misjudge your jump at all. Anyway, I'll see you guys in part 2 where we take on Spring Yard Zone and Labyrinth. Gah.